Welcome to Workday Recruiting, Prospects and Candidates. In this session, we'll demonstrate how to create prospects and convert them to active candidates. You'll also explore the information available in the candidate profile. Recruiters know the importance of building a strong talent pool, but within that pool, there are different types of potential hires. Some people are actively searching for a role within an organization, while others are open to an opportunity but not seeking a particular role. Workday Recruiting groups these people into active candidates and prospects. Active candidates are those who have actually applied to one or more job requisitions in your company. Prospects are individuals who haven't submitted an application yet, but have shown interest in your company in some way. Active candidates are ready for the next step in the application process, while prospects might need some nurturing before they're ready to apply. By understanding the distinction between active candidates and prospects, you can tailor your outreach strategies. Let's now imagine a recruiter at a job fair. They might not have a specific role for each person they interact with. However, they want to nurture a relationship and determine if they are good candidates for later roles. Recruiters can use a mobile device to quickly create a prospect record with the person's contact info. They can then add this info into Workday Recruiting so that they can connect with them at a later time. When you first manually enter a candidate into Workday Recruiting, that candidate is a prospect. Their prospect record in Workday is not associated with a specific job posting. You can think of prospects as leads for open positions. Recruiters can create their own list of prospects to monitor, and the same individual can also be a prospect for multiple recruiters. We've defined active candidates and external prospects, but prospects can come from inside your company. For example, when an internal worker shows interest in an open job within the company, you can create a prospect record for them by using the Create Prospect task. Just select the Create from Existing Workers option and search for the worker. If you're already on the worker's profile, select the related actions, choose Recruiting, and then Add to Prospects. When you create a prospect from an internal worker, information from the worker's profile default in, such as their experience level, status, attachments, and more. Recruiters can edit these data points, but they can't edit the name and contact information that also default when you save the record. When you're ready to fill a role and want to view prospects, you can use the Find Candidates report and filter on the prospect candidate type. When viewing an internal prospect record, Workday makes it easy to switch the view to their worker profile. From the prospect record, use the related actions to select Candidate Actions and then View Worker Profile. Now that we've covered internal prospects, let's discuss external prospects. If you have an external career site, the Prospect Introduce Yourself feature lets prospective candidates submit a resume and basic contact information directly to your career site. They can complete this even without applying to a specific job. These submissions create prospect records directly in Workday to help you identify future talent. Whether there's an internal worker or external candidate that might be a good fit for a future job opening, recruiters can add them to a prospect list for later review. Recruiters can then view these prospects in their My Candidates report. Moving right along, let's now discuss active candidates in Workday. A person who applies through the internal or external career site can become an active candidate. When a recruiting user links a prospect to a job or evergreen requisition, the prospect then becomes an active candidate. Additionally, prospects become active candidates when they apply directly for a job. Recruiting users can also use the Invite to Apply feature for existing prospects. This feature allows candidates to complete an application and screening questions. Afterwards, they'll appear as active candidates in Workday. If a candidate applies to a job without first being a prospect, they won't have a prospect record in Workday unless a recruiter generates one. Let's further examine prospects with an example. Meet Carmen, a primary recruiter for Global Modern Services. At a conference, Carmen meets a potential prospect for a position. However, Carmen doesn't have Workday Recruiting enabled on her mobile device to add their details immediately. Instead, she enters the details into her computer when she returns to her office. Now, as Carmen, Hannah will demonstrate how to create a prospect and add them to a prospect list.
As Carmen, from the navigation pane in the Shortcuts menu, I'll select Create Prospect. Here, in the New Prospect Details section, if I enter the contact's name, I can first check for duplicates. Since Workday didn't detect any potential duplicate records, I'll continue by entering the contact information. I'll leave the default country information. I'll also add the skills the prospect identified. Carmen also wants to search for any internal workers that could be a fit for the position and add them to her prospect list. First, I'll navigate to the Find Workers report. This role has some specific requirements, so I'll add those to the search facets. From my results, I've located a worker I want to add to my prospect list. From their related actions, I'll select Recruiting and then Add to Prospects. From the Create Prospect task, I'll select OK to create a new prospect from an existing worker. In the Status field, I'll choose Nurturing and then select OK to create the prospect record. Now, I am viewing the new prospect record and can review the data that defaulted from the worker profile.
In this session, we've demonstrated how to create prospects and convert them to active candidates. You also navigated the candidate profile to view available information. Thank you for taking the time to learn with Workday.